Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about the text that will make her regret losing you. So this is about the sort of text exchange that you may have after a woman sort of like rejects you or dumps you or puts you in friend zone, and how to handle that. Now, I know a lot of men that are watching this video may be already past that point, okay? Because what tends to happen is a man might get rejected, friend zone, dumped, and then he will then try and do something after that to try and fix the situation, like try and prove himself. Maybe if it's an ex, he may try and beg and plead to get her back. And that's usually when, in these kind of circumstances that men actually find my channel, okay, after sort of things have gone a bit too far in that respect. Okay, but some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video will really help if this ever happens to you again. Okay, right? I will obviously help with, if to try and turn things around with women that maybe you have messed things up with, and you'll probably notice these things as I go through the text that you should say immediately after a woman dumps you via text or friend zones you or rejects you in some shape or form. So the best kind of thing to do is to accept it. Okay, the worst thing that you can do is not accept it and try to fight for her. The best thing to do is to not fight at all. And if like, so for example, if a woman says to you that she no longer wants to be with you, let's say you've been in a relationship with a woman and she messages you to tell you that she doesn't want the relationship to continue. The best thing that you could actually say in that circumstance is, I agree. I think that's a good idea. Right? Just agree with it. Just gracefully agree with it. Because first of all, this will do two things. First of all, it will make her kind of confused. And secondly, it will make her, it will probably destroy her ego a little bit, because she was probably expecting on some level, even though she wants to break up with you, even though she doesn't want to be with you anymore, she's probably going to expect on some level that you were going to fight. Okay, she was expecting that you were going to say, oh, what can I do better? Maybe we can fix this. What should I do? How can I change? What would make this better? Or I'm really sorry for this, or I'm really sorry for that. Or just backpedaling a lot and trying to, beg and plead for, to get some sort of closure, or to try and win her back in some way. But if you just say, I agree, she's going to be like, oh, that kind of just ended. I was expecting it to be drawn out for a little bit. I was expecting him to fight for me. And the reason why a lot of women are expecting that, and sometimes even hope for that, is because it makes them feel desired. It makes them feel sought after. It makes them feel attractive, because, oh, he's fighting for me. Even though I'm not really interested in being with him, at least he's fighting for me, and it makes me feel good that he, I'm obviously very, very hard to get over, and he's struggling with it. She may not be thinking that consciously, but it's something that she'll be sort of like instinctively feeling like she wants. But if you don't give it to her, right, you're just like, okay, you just agree with it. She doesn't get that. She doesn't get that resistance. She doesn't get that sort of bit of conflict. It's like a story, like what makes a good story? Conflict. That's what makes a good story, right? And you're not giving her that to her story. You're not giving her any conflict. You're just agreeing with it, right? But of course, if you really love her, then obviously, and especially if you've already got past that point, then you probably did the opposite. You did what I said that you shouldn't do, which is, you begged, you pleaded, you tried to reason with her, you tried to make things work, instead of just being like, okay, fine. And essentially, you gave her what she wanted. You boosted her ego. You made her feel desired and attractive, and made her feel like the more attractive one, the more desirable one out of the two of you. So that's why it's another good reason why. To say that you agree and you think that her choice is the right one, because that at least makes you on the same level, rather than her being the most attractive one and the most desired one because you're the one that's chasing her and trying to get her back. You've at least lowered the playing field to where you're sort of even. And that's the best possible position to be in if you want to tip the scales and make you the more attractive one, because if she wants something to happen, if she wants you to fight for her, then she's going to have to do something about it herself. She's going to have to say something to you. But so you may actually twist you might actually turn the tables there and get her to chase you and become more attracted to you and to regret losing you. But obviously that's just for that specific example of being broken up with and dumped. What about if a woman friend zones you? Well, you can use the same sort of language there. You know, if a woman, if you're, let's say you ask a woman out and she says, oh, you know, I'd rather just be friends. Again, you can agree with that if you'd like to. Say, yeah, you know, I agree, we should just be friends. But what I would say to you that is to not accept the friendship in that you shouldn't be her friend. Okay, because that could long term for you is not the best thing, because you're gonna want her, you're gonna desire her, and you're not gonna be able to sort of execute that by being in a relationship with her, by having sex with her, because she's now your friend. So that's just gonna give you blue balls, you know, that kind of thing. You know, it's just you're gonna rake your heart across the coals. So it's best, like, if she says let's be friends, you can say yeah, sure, let's be friends, but then just don't ever message her again. And if she talks to you, just ignore her. You know, that's the best thing that you could do in that circumstance. Unless you really want her. Okay, so if you really, really do want her and you want to kind of like leave the door open a little bit for her, then when you get friend zoned, the best thing that you can say is, I want more than friendship. I can't just be your friend. So I don't think it's a good idea that we talk anymore. Okay, but you know what? If you want more with me in the future, then you know where I am. I might not be available there by then. I might have a girlfriend by then, but if you change your mind, you know where I am. You can say that if you want to leave the door open for her, but it's a choice. You don't have to say that. You could also as well just say, no, I want more than that. I don't see you as a friend. I think it's best if we go our separate ways. You can also say that too. So it's sort of like in the middle ground of those three responses. So that's another thing you can say. And that will make her regret losing you in such that perhaps she was expecting you again to want to be her friend, and you're not giving her what she wants. Because women mostly know, like, when they friend zone a guy, they know that guy's interested, because otherwise she wouldn't have friend zoned him. So what she's liking the fact that she's got this guy orbiter who likes her, who's hanging out with her, makes her feel desired and makes her feel attractive, but you're not giving it to her because you're saying, I want more than that. I think it's best we go our separate ways. Or you say, yeah, let's be friends, but you don't give her the attention of being friends. Okay? She was partly expecting you to hang out with her, to be friends with her, to be buddies, and you can be the guy that she can fall back on if it doesn't work out with the guy that she actually does like. But you're not giving it to her, and that frustrates her. That will frustrate her, especially if she, because sometimes a woman may say, oh, let's just be friends, and she's hoping that you are just going to go away because she's really not that interested in you and she doesn't actually really want to be your friend. But other women do want you to hang around, do want you to hang out with her, because she likes the attention that she gets from you. So it depends on if you're dealing with a normal woman or a woman that likes attention. Okay? So either way, though, the best response is to not engage with that friendship and to entertain it. Okay? So what about then if a woman rejects you? Let's say you're talking to a woman, you're texting her, maybe she's someone that you go to work with or go to school with, and you ask her out. You say, hey, I'd like to get to know you. When are you free? Or, you know, would you like to go on a date or something like that? When are you free? And she says, oh, sorry, I'm not interested. Or she might say, oh, I'm really busy right now, or I haven't got really much to, you know, I've got to finish school, I've got to think about this, I'm not really looking to date anyone. She might even say she's a lesbian or something, or she's bisexual and she's seeing someone else, or maybe she's got a boyfriend. And the only thing that you really need to say in that circumstance when a woman is rejecting you, no matter what she says, it doesn't matter what she says, your response should always be the same. And that is, you should just simply say, your loss, and then leave like a little winky face or something like that, and then just move on. Again, don't talk to her again. Okay? Even if she responds to that message, don't talk to her again. Okay? The only thing that you may want to respond to is if she backpedals and then says that she made a mistake and she does want to date you, but a lot of women aren't going to be that upfront. But that's the only response that you need to give. You just say your loss, and just, you know, or if she says that she's got a boyfriend, you could say, well, he's a lucky guy, and then you just leave it at that. You don't speak to her again. You move on with your life. You no longer engage in the conversation. When you've said that one last text of your loss, you should never speak to her again, even if she messages you. Okay, again, unless she's wanting to be with you, and then of course you can reciprocate if you want to, but it's not very likely that's going to happen usually. So that's all you really need to say. These are the things that you should text a woman that will make her regret losing you. But why does your loss, why does that lead to maybe her potentially regret losing you? Well, especially if you then live your life and you're trying to live a successful life and you're trying to make yourself live the best possible life as possible, which you should be doing anyway. You shouldn't be doing it just to make a woman regret losing you, but you should be wanting that for yourself anyway. Just, because if you've got respect for yourself, then you want to live a life that you enjoy, that you like, that brings you a lot of inspiration and passion and makes you feel really good about yourself. That's the kind of life you should be aiming for anyway. But I understand that you may want to, excuse me, use the power of revenge in a way to propel that, which is fine as long as you're not shoving it in someone's face. You can use the dark side. You can use the dark side. You can use the dark energy of I'm gonna show her that I'm awesome. You can use that energy as long as you're not shoving it in her face and you're not hurting anyone or her in that process. You're just using it as fuel, right? It doesn't matter if she does end up regretting losing you. It doesn't matter about anything. All that matters is that you're just, it's helping to motivate you to create a life that you're happy about. And that's what I mean by that. Okay. But ultimately, the best place to be, though, is to want to do it just for yourself. And she will then look back on that message, that last message from you that says your loss, and she will come to the conclusion that, maybe it was my loss. He seems to be having a great life. He seems to be really happy. Maybe at some point you get married and have kids, and she notices that, well, that woman chose him. Obviously there was something about him, otherwise he wouldn't have got married and had kids that women like. And, she's just going to, she may not have this exact thought process, but it's something that will maybe dawn on her, dawn on her emotions and things like that. And even though she might not be able to articulate it, she will be like, she may feel it on some kind of subconscious level. Okay, so when you say your loss, it's then time to prove that it is her loss and create a life for yourself that you're really happy about. But don't just do it for her, do it for you. But if you need that as motivation, then fine. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. If you feel like the prices for coaching are too expensive, you can just very easily coach yourself by reading Attracting the Beautiful Woman of Your Dreams. You can read this completely for free on my website. The link will be in the description. www.christineloveridge.com, and just click on the menu on the page and then go to the book, and it'll take you straight to the PDF reader. If you want to support me in another way, you can purchase the book. The Kindle version is much more cheaper on Amazon, and if you would like to, I'll be really helpful and kind of you if you'd left a nice review about the book or about my coaching in general, and that would be just really appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.